Hello, everyone, and welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Transportation System.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Double Dose of Disney podcast. On today's episode, we are talking all about a topic that is really what every trip to Disney up until this point in time has been about for Tony and I. Couples vacations at Walt Disney World. As always, I am joined here by my sweet and handsome co-host, Tony. When we first started traveling to Walt Disney World for our second anniversary back in 2020, we really never ever looked back after that trip. Going to Walt Disney World on a couples trip is just so much fun, and in some ways I feel like it can be really underrated, whether you're going to celebrate a honeymoon, maybe it's like a surprise engagement trip, an anniversary, just a getaway with like your significant other. There's so much to do at Walt Disney World for adults. And getting to live in the magic of Disney with the person that you love the most, I just feel like there's nothing like it, you know?
So basically, we're just going to recap our trips from the past.
Yes, and share tips that we've learned along the way.
Okay, that should be easy.
Yeah, so as of now, I guess we've done 5 couples trips to Disney. Obviously, our trips moving forward will look a little bit different with the girls on the way, but we're no less excited for them. I think it'll just be like a fun difference. So we've just had so much fun along the way, and I think that it's just like such a great opportunity just to like reconnect with your spouse, you know, or your significant other.
Oh yeah, we know. Romantic.
Yeah, romantic.
Should we give the tips, or you got some more to talk about in the front end?
No, I mean, I guess our Disney trips have just always been so fun and so magical. Like our first trip to Disney was, like I said, it was our second anniversary. After that, we made it a tradition to go every year for our anniversary. And then we started throwing in like a second trip for the year, which we go in September. And it's so much fun just to like get to like run through the parks. Like I always feel like when I go with you for our couples trips that it's just like we're truly kids.
So going into tip number 1, because you already took my first tip, is to be kids. Whether you're going in there without kids or you're like us and you've always been there as a couple, that's the first thing. And the most important thing to remember is to be kids when you're in the park, not to only think about when you have kids, you can do this, you can have fun, you can run around, you can do whatever kids do. Be a kid. Definitely makes it way more fun.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And I guess I honestly hadn't even thought about that. I think I kind of like take it just, to me, it's like, okay, like, yeah, you're just going to go to Disney and you're going to be a kid. But like what you said, if you've never been to Disney before, or if this is like your first trip to Disney without kids, it can be very easy to still be like in that rigid like adult mindset. I feel like when we go to Disney, we literally like, we don't know what's going on in the outside world. Like it doesn't matter to us, you know? Mm-hmm. So we really get to act like we have like that like childlike spirit. My number 1 tip is do not rope drop. I talk about this all the time, but I just feel like rope drop at Walt Disney World isn't necessary for your vacation.
It depends how many times you've been there.
Yes, that's true. Depends on how many times you've been there. But if you are going without kids, I frequently tell my clients if they're going on adult vacations to Disney, don't rope drop. Because you can sleep in and then enjoy the parks like up until closing time, which is sometimes after the fireworks, you know? And a lot of people don't realize that the parks are sometimes open after the fireworks. I'm talking about Magic Kingdom in particular. It's typically open after the fireworks, and a lot of people don't realize that they leave the park, and that is one of the things that we love to do on our anniversary trips is like we will like run around the parks and get as many like rides done and stuff like that. Like we stack lightning lanes and just go from like Space Mountain to like Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, all of those fun rides, and the crowd is minimal, you know?
Yeah, so that's purpose. This is what we like to do. It's still a tip, but we've learned what we like to do. More so. Take it or leave it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like every family is different, like every couple is different, and so you may be someone who likes to get to the parks early, and you may want to go over to like end your evening at California Grill and have a nice meal and not go back to the parks. We're people who we like, once we get to the parks, we like to stay there until close. And so that's kind of just what works for us.
Depends on what park too. Animal Kingdom, you're gonna rope drop that one.
Well, yeah.
It shuts down earlier, so it depends on the park too then.
Yeah, definitely.
We rope drop Animal Kingdom, stay in the morning until close, then do like a dinner afterwards, but Magic Kingdom, we tend to go when about 10 o'clock.
Right. Well, Magic Kingdom's also the park that stays open the
way later. Yeah, more to do.
Magic Kingdom, we tend to go about 10, and then Epcot, we usually don't get there like right when it opens. Epcot, we go at like...
So Hollywood Studios, we pretty much get there.
Hollywood Studios, whenever it's time to go to Hollywood Studios, I am like up and ready to get there. I love that park.
Kind of makes it tricky. Did you sleep in one day? Not the next. Then you get up, then you back and forth.
So that was one of my things that I learned from a podcast early on when we were going to Disney. Somebody had suggested, and I thought it was a really great idea. If you are going to Disney, don't do, like, okay, Magic Kingdom stays open the latest. So let's say Magic Kingdom closes at 11. Don't schedule your Animal Kingdom day the day after your Magic Kingdom day. Because Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom opens the earliest and closes the earliest, you want to maximize that time at Animal Kingdom. So you don't want to be tired from staying at Magic Kingdom till close, you know?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So I always try to, like, whenever I'm planning our park days, I always try to, like, go through that and think through, okay, we're probably going to be out late at this park, and then we'll be up early for this park. With all of that said, now that park pass reservations are going away for 2024 for day guest, it won't be as much of an issue for most people, but it's still something to think about.
So that was your number one.
That was my number one. Don't rope drop.
In order.
Yes.
Highest priority.
Yes. What's yours?
We've kind of already talked about this but number two is to explore. If you're going with just one other person, it's easier to go get more done. Less people, less opinions.
In the parks?
Everywhere. Go check out other resorts.
Yeah.
A lot more people, there's a lot more opinions, there's a lot more things you gotta get done. You can't get as much done.
Right.
So like for us, we can go cruise on the monorail, go check out another resort, have lunch, go to a park, whatever, any order. Just you can get a lot more done. So explore as much as you can.
Yeah.
Just with one other person.
That's true. Like we've talked about it on the podcast before. Like we love to, when we're leaving Animal Kingdom, we don't usually have a dining reservation that night, and we'll just hop on a bus and hop over to whatever resort. Like, so last time we were leaving Animal Kingdom, we were like, the first bus that pulls up, that's where we're going. And it happened to be going to the Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge. And we were like, okay, the first resort it goes to, that's where we'll get off at. And it pulled up to Wilderness Lodge. And then we went to Geyser Point Bar and Grill, where we love. But if we were in a big group, that would have been harder to do rather than it just being the two of us. Obviously, if it's us with the girls, like, that won't be that big of an issue. But
the goals.
The goals, as our niece says. The goals.
Hashtag the goals.
Yeah, GOURLS. So yeah, that's true. And I guess, like, we've gotten to see so many of the different resorts and stuff because we just hop around and explore the different resorts. You could leave Grand Floridian and go to Enchanted Rose Lounge over at, you could leave Magic Kingdom, go to Grand Floridian, and go to Enchanted Rose Lounge. Like, do something like that and take advantage of that.
Well, and like we've done, it gives you kind of more info as far as like resorts that you'd want to stay at the future.
Right.
Things like that, not just to go hang out necessarily. You get kind of multifaceted. Is that it? Wrong usage of that word?
No.
More reasons to want to go there. That's just go eat lunch. But yeah. Check out places you may want to stay in the future.
Yeah. My second tip is to plan a resort day with a nice dinner. So one of the things we always do is we will do a resort day. Typically, it's the day after our anniversary. And then we have like no plans during the day, and we'll just kind of hang out at the pool, eat around at the resort, and then we'll typically do a dinner at a resort that's outside of ours. So when we stayed at Wilderness Lodge, we went over to Ohana and ate dinner there. Last time though, since we were at Beach Club, we just walked into Epcot, and that was kind of like our fun dinner.
So plan a resort day with a nice dinner.
Yeah.
So not a nice dinner every day, just a resort day.
No, not necessarily. Well, I feel like it's like, I don't know, I just always feel like it's
We always do a dinner every day.
We do a dinner every day, but most of the time we're in the parks, you know? So like plan a resort dinner, I guess I should say.
On your resort day, plan a nicer dinner.
Right, a nicer dinner. Because you have time to dress up, all of that stuff, you know?
What would be your restaurant to go to?
I would say like go to Ohana. I would say if you want to do a character meal as a couple, you could do that. That's something Tony and I have never done on a couples trip. That'll change soon with the goals. But we've always held on doing character meals until we have our little ones with us. So that will be something that's new. But I know a lot of people who go on couples vacations who still do character dining. So you could go eat at like Strobic Dining at Artist Point. You could eat at Narcoossee's. You could go to California Grill. There's so many like nicer places you could go to. And since you're already going to go to the parks anyway, you can get dressed up. You're not in your park clothes, all that fun stuff.
Not that I was ever above it, but still I think it's really geared more toward kids with the character sit-downs. I would do it still, but it just seems the most appropriate with kids.
Well, I agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
It just makes you feel kind of weird still.
It depends on where you go, though, I think. Like, I think if you went to Topolino's Terrace and you ate breakfast with, like, Mickey and characters, I don't think that would be necessarily as awkward because it's a nicer atmosphere. But I agree. I don't think that
everything is acceptable and you shouldn't feel weird at all, but you still kind of do.
Well, and I guess that's kind of contrasting the whole point of this podcast because you should be kids with your significant other. So maybe we've been doing it wrong.
Mic drop.
Ooh. We've been doing it wrong. We'll take our own advice. Next trip, we're doing a character dining, but next trip we'll have the goals with us, so, you know.
Moving on.
All right. What's your next one?
Something we always do is to plan your trip on a special occasion.
Yeah.
Or like we used to, our anniversary used to be on Super Bowl Sunday, week during that time.
Right.
Not anymore, but maybe do it on somebody's birthday or an anniversary as well. But that's something that, you know, when you're in Disney too, it's something else to celebrate. You get the buttons, you know, it's a little more than just on a trip. Makes it that much more special.
Yeah, and I think that it makes, like you said, it makes it that much more special. And I would also add to that and selectively choose which park you want to visit on that day. So if you go, like Tony said, if you're going to Disney for your birthday, your like wife's birthday, then I would plan to go to maybe the park that she's the most excited about on that particular day. That's something that we learned a couple of years ago. Remember, we like planned to go to Epcot on our anniversary to mix it up. One of the things we always do is we try to go to the parks in different orders, and now we've been more, that's a little bit like harder to do, but it always makes it feel like it's not the same trip over and over again. So we went to Epcot on our anniversary, but we realized like we actually really like to be at Magic Kingdom on our anniversary. There's nothing wrong with Epcot, but you're just kind of like walking around more, having food and drinks. You're not really like sitting down, you know?
Yeah, it just didn't feel right.
No, and so going back to like that previous tip of like plan a resort day with a nice dinner, that resort day was the next day, and then our dinner was at Ohana. So we're like, okay, we're really celebrating our anniversary at Ohana that night. So if you're taking advantage of having a nice, of having like that celebration during your vacation, then definitely plan for it with like a park or a special dinner or something like that, just to make it that much more magical. Mine is take advantage of table service meals.
That's your what? Your next one?
Yeah.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Number 3.
Take advantage of table service meals because when you're, like you said, when you're in a bigger group, it can be more challenging and
more expensive.
If you have like little ones with you, like we'll probably do more quick service dining at Disney, which is nothing wrong with it. We love quick service dining at Disney too. There's great options.
We've taken advantage of this one everywhere we go.
We've done our fair share, yeah. Because you can't. So when you take kids to Disney, let's say they're like they're babies, they're in strollers, they're in carriers still. You can't take your stroller into most restaurants. You can always ask the cast member, but it's up to their discretion as to whether or not they have like a corner table or somewhere that they can place you. That's obviously their biggest priority, is making sure that like the wait staff and everything can get around, especially if you go to like a character meal, the characters are walking through and stuff like that. So you may not be able to just like wheel your stroller right in there. Whereas if you're on a couple trip, it's a lot easier to do.
Number 4, bring extra money. Splurge. Get the bigger resort. Spend a little more money on your hotel.
Yeah.
Maybe get a little suite. More people, more money. That goes back to kind of the occasion too.
Right.
Make it on the occasion. Splurge. Go higher. Ball out a little bit.
Yeah, and there's so many different resorts at Disney, and some of them I feel like are really themed more toward adults. Not that any of them
like Coronado.
are like...
Go stay in the tower
Right.
at Coronado.
Not that any of them are going to be like, oh, children aren't allowed here. Like, that would never be the thing at Disney. But like at Coronado, like you said, when we stayed at Coronado Grand Casino Tower, there were kids that were staying in like a room or two over from us. But it just felt like more of like an adult-centric resort.
Or like Saratoga.
Yeah.
Quieter. Golf while you're there.
Right.
Go to Disney Springs.
Or even like Beach Club. Like I would recommend doing
Coronado.
A lot of people say Coronado is like the a moderate resort at a deluxe resort at a moderate price tag. So then I would say do Coronado or any of the deluxe resorts, like you said.
I just thought another one to add on, but I'll wait for you to do.
My next one is to get Memory Maker Photo Pass. I think a lot of people pass
That's
this
what
up.
you should do every time.
Yes, no, I agree. But
some people have their strong opinions, no, but it's for $170.
yeah,
You're having. We wouldn't even have half the pictures.
that's why I say that.
We wouldn't have anything.
That's why I say that.
I take pictures.
On our first couple trips, we didn't have Photo Pass because we were like, we don't really understand the point of it. And I'd always seen sometimes the Photo Pass, I will be honest, sometimes Photo Pass photos can come out with like really harsh lighting, especially
There's
if
usually
it's, like,
one good one
cloudy or
out of every
something.
6.
But yes,
At least you got them.
yeah, you've got them. And the thing is we would end up walking around. I remember like we were standing on the bridge outside of the France Pavilion in Epcot, and we asked somebody to take a photo, and it was like. They agreed, and it was very kind of them to agree.
Who wants to do that every time you want a picture?
But yeah,
that's the thing.
And it was during COVID, and so we had like our masks on, and
They
then
have the gloves touching your phone.
yeah, people were weird about like the like photos and like touching your phone anyway. And then the photo was like off center, and I was like, this like
Right as fast as
do
you can.
photo
Gotta get
pass.
here.
We
Gotta get away from these people.
Well, we love doing photo pass. Like we love like our photos from it. They're so fun. They're like posed and everything like that. So I always recommend getting Memory Maker, but especially when you're on a couples trip because it just makes it so much easier.
It's not part of Memory Maker, but on your app, on the Disney app, they have the frames you can take pictures.
Oh,
in
that's
there.
true.
When you're in the parks, that's another thing. If you open
With
up
Genie Plus.
the Genie Plus, yeah, you can kind of do your own selfies with the Mickey in the background, or there's actually, I don't know how many there is. There's a bunch of them. Do your own little personal photos in that too as well.
Yeah, that's true.
My last one, which is one we have never done, is do some kind of tour.
That's a good one.
Behind the scenes tour, or the Animal Kingdom. What's a Giants?
Caring for Giants.
Caring for Giants. Something like that.
Or
Obviously,
Save the Savannah.
kind of going back and forth on money. Just bring lots of money either way. But that's something that if you're the big group, you're probably not going to.
True.
Who's going, who's not going, have more opinion, whatever. But yeah, do like a behind the scenes or Keys of the Kingdom, right?
Well, yeah, and some of the tours have age limits. So I think Keys of the Kingdom, I think you have to be 13 or 14 to be able to go on it. So if you're on an adult trip, you don't have to worry about that.
We haven't done any of them yet.
No, we have not yet to do them. But in our defense, A lot of them have been discontinued up until like this past year.
They just brought them all back.
There was one that I've still like wanted to do. I think it was like Marceline to Main Street that they used to have. And I was gonna surprise Tony with it because the thing with the Keys of the Kingdom tour, I've always wanted to do it, but it's like a 5-hour tour, and so you pay for your tour, and then you also pay for a park ticket for that day on top of it. So it makes it more expensive, and you're on the tour for like 5 hours. But there's another one that was called Marceline to Main Street, and you would walk down Main Street, USA, with a VIP tour, like a cast member, not a VIP tour guide, but like a cast member. And you would have like headsets on, and it would tell you all about like different details of Main Street and stuff, which I think that would be so much fun because that was only like a couple hours in the morning.
So how many tours is there?
I don't know.
Is there even one at Hollywood Studios?
No.
There should be.
I know, Hollywood Studios would be such a cool park to have tours at.
Or Epcot?
Yeah. Well, there's like Living with the Land, like the behind the scenes tour. There's the
no Utilidor one at Epcot?
No.
Underneath?
No.
Nobody
And
knows
that's
up
something
there?
that nobody talks about. There's a Utilidor underneath Epcot. Did you know that? But there's also the one in the Seas Pavilion where you can I think sometimes you can actually swim with dolphins, but then you can also just like go behind the scenes of like the aquatic area.
I was looking up the VIP tours, pricing from $450 to $900 per hour, depending on the season. Yep, park admission is required.
Mm-hmm.
With that, you can go up to 10 guests on that.
Right.
So you split it up, so it's really cheap.
I priced that one for people, and
Not really.
I priced that one for people, and it never like necessarily like comes to fruition. Because like Tony said, you have to buy a park ticket, but you can't just buy one park. You have to buy park hopper tickets. Because with VIP tours, you can go to all 4 parks in one day, just depending on how you plan it. I think they're cool in the sense that you get to skip the lines on attractions, but like Tony said, there's a price that comes with it.
Yeah, so behind the scenes is the Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
Epcot, Living with the Land tour, Carrying with Giants, the Animal Kingdom. You have your VIP tours. I guess they have the VIP in every park?
Yes.
Multiple locations, yeah. It has it at Epcot. Keys of the Kingdom tour, Magic Kingdom. Epcot Seas Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scuba diving one?
I don't know.
It's a dive quest.
Oh, yeah.
And you have Epcot Seas Adventures Dolphins.
Right.
Savor the Savannah, Animal Kingdom. The Starlight Safari at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's one where you drive around.
Yeah, that's the one where you meet at Animal Kingdom Lodge at night and do the night one.
Up Close with Rhinos at Animal Kingdom.
And that one kids can do.
And then the Wild Africa Trek at Animal Kingdoms. We've seen that one too.
Right.
I think you eat and go on a ride, private tour.
Yeah.
Savannah, and then Wilderness Back Trail Adventure.
That's the one on Segways, right?
Disney's Fort Wilderness Lodge Resort.
Yeah, that's when you go on Segways through Fort Wilderness Lodge. And that one actually...
Like, talk about that one before.
That one actually...
Yeah, on 2 wheels. Go wild on 2 wheels.
Yeah, and that one is interesting because that one, even during like COVID, that one was still existent.
Taking Florida's natural beauty while gliding along scenic back roads.
I don't know if I trust myself on a Segway.
Get your Segway legs before you head out. Approximately 30 minutes of instructions of practice time. Nope, and you get a helmet. An electronic earpiece. Actually sounds kind of fun. I had to try that one out.
Yeah.
See who falls first. So we got about 10 different tours.
Yeah, and most of them like...
Nothing in Hollywood Studios, yeah.
Yeah, I wish that there was... there's so much behind the scenes stuff in Hollywood Studios. So many like Easter eggs and things like that. I think it'd be so cool to do one in Hollywood Studios.
It says multiple locations, but it doesn't say what location's in there. So maybe
For
they're
what?
going. If you know one, let us know. Anything in Hollywood Studios. Any kind of tour, behind the scenes. VIP.
Well, VIP tours, you can go to every single park. Yeah, you can do that. So you could go with a VIP tour guide through Hollywood Studios, but you can't go just like on like a specific like behind the scenes tour of this, and this, you know?
So that's what I got.
My last one is to do a progressive meal. That's something that we did on our last trip twice. We went into Epcot and we did it. We also did it over at Disney Springs. We started out I'm blanking right now, Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. And we had like appetizers and drinks.
With the pretzel board.
The pretzel board.
Huge pretzel, charcuterie inside the big pretzel. Amazing.
Yes, which, let me say, I think that is severely underrated as a snack. Tony actually said that the other day. He was like, nobody talks about that enough. And I agree with him. It had like pepperoni on it. There was like some type of smoked sausage. They had like the best pickled cucumbers. Oh my gosh, those were so good. There was cheese. There was beer, beer
and you
cheese.
Eat your pretzel as you're eating the rest of it. And
the pretzel goes around
the
board. And then, like, was it a honey mustard or like a spicy mustard?
Probably.
So we started there.
And sit outside and watch the band play too while you're there.
Yeah, we started there. Then we went over to Raglan Road and we ate dinner at Raglan Road. We had to wait a while. We asked for a table in the main dining area. Raglan Road is really fun if you've never been there. It's an Irish pub style restaurant. So if you sit in the main dining room, there are live performers that do like dance shows and stuff. Don't
plan on talking to anybody though.
Yeah, it was good. I have said on TikTok before that Raglan Road is not our favorite restaurant to eat at. It's a great atmosphere, but if you're going there for like fish and chips, like my food was actually really good. I got like braised beef or something, I think, like that.
There's some stuff we haven't tried that looks really good. I think we shot ourselves in the foot for what we got last time.
Yeah, like I got the braised beef and that was really good. I don't really like heavier meals always, and like obviously their food there is going to be like heavier, like more like comfort food. But Tony got the fish and chips, and we didn't feel like it was worth it for the price.
I don't like a big slab. I like pieces, and I think it was a huge slab of fish, I think.
Yeah.
So for me, just texture-wise, it didn't hit the spot.
But the atmosphere there is really fun, and if you're on an adult trip, that's fine. If you're with kids, like you probably would want to we talked about going back there and not requesting to be seated in the main dining area.
The first time we went there after we ate dinner, and we just went into the bar, had a drink, listened to the band, and replay, and then we got an appetizer. So that's more the way we like to go.
Yeah, to me that's perfect. We got the gluten-free onion rings, and Tony was not a fan.
After you were already full, just to try them.
Yeah, and I wanted to try them.
Didn't even eat them.
They were good. I only ate one of them. Like, onion rings are really filling, but they were good. But they do have a great like gluten-free menu there. But then we ate there, and then afterwards we went to Salt and Straw and had dessert. So we did a progressive dinner at Disney Springs, and then we also did one over at Epcot, which I've talked about on the podcast here before. It's under, if you follow me on TikTok, it's under my like Walt Disney World vlogs. We did a whole like vlog from it. We went around the countries and did like had a randomizer app, like let it choose which pavilion we were going to be eating at, and that was really fun too.
Yeah, overall, kind of goes back to just being spontaneous.
Yeah.
Depends on how many times you've been here, what you want to see, but for us, we don't necessarily have to do and see everything. We still like to do a lot, but just be spontaneous and doing just kind of wherever it takes you. Go with the flow.
Yeah, there's so much to see and do at Disney.
You can't get your expectations down having something you don't do.
Right. There's so much to see and do at Disney. There's so much to explore, like Tony said in the beginning of the podcast. And there's so many things like you can do. I always say to plan on the front end. So like on our trips, I always plan a lot on the front end. And then once we get there, it's like, okay, let's just go with the flow and see what happens. Like I don't want to be disappointed if I don't get to ride Rock
Until I get a hold of Genie Plus and it's on.
Yeah, and then Tony gets a hold of Genie Plus and I'm like, hey, can you slow your roll?
It's obsessive. It's kind of hard not to. Like, what's next? What's the ride next? What do we got next? What's going on here? What's the wait here? Check
Where are we going?
Refresh.
Tony's the worst about it at Magic Kingdom because he's just like, Magic Kingdom, there's so much to do and he's just hopping around the park. But at the same time, as a bonus tip for when you go on a couple's vacation, don't be afraid to slow down. Like, because you don't have kids with you or you don't have people in your party who are like, I've got to get this ride in, maybe make a list of like top 3 things for each of you to do, and then the rest of it's just gravy. Like, you get to kind of like explore the park and stuff like that. Like, some of our favorite things to do is to go into Crystal Arts off of Main Street, USA.
Watch them make pumpkins.
Yeah, we watch them make like blow glass. And it's so much fun. And
yeah, go talk to that guy. He's funny. Go talk to him when you're in there in the back. Forgot his name.
Yeah, and Crystal Arts is owned by the Arabis brothers, which is the whole like really cool story of The Rebus brothers were actually sought out by Walt Disney himself to create like crystal figurines and things like that for Disneyland. They now have a location at every single park around the world, but at Walt Disney World, they have one at Disney Springs. They have one at Magic Kingdom. They won a couple at Epcot.
I thought they got them everywhere.
I don't know about Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios.
I don't think so in Animal Kingdom.
No.
That's another one of our tips is to experience and enjoy everything, because a lot of times we're the only people in that place when we first went in there.
Yeah.
Basically had our own little demonstration with this guy, because everyone's just cruising the attractions and rides. I mean, and there's so much more to see and do and learn and experience than just the rides and food.
When we went to Magic Kingdom in September, we really like took advantage of slowing down, because a lot of the like
we go 100-0.
Yeah. A lot of the experiences that are so fun to do had been like closed during like COVID or after COVID, and so they just come back. So you've got Main Street Vehicles if you get to Magic Kingdom right when it opens. The Dapper Dans perform throughout the day.
Nobody stops for those guys.
And like Tony said, like sometimes we've been the only people watching like the Dapper Dans, and it's such a cool experience. Or go to the flag retreat at the end of the day. We've never made that yet. We still want to.
Yeah, you get in the routine of kind of doing the same kind of route. Whenever you get in these parks, sometimes you kind of go the same way, try to get the same rides.
Well, and the flag retreat is off Main Street USA. It's like right. So Magic Kingdom only has one real flag. All the rest of the flags on Main Street are actually fake. They're missing a star. They're missing a stripe.
No one's gonna go up there and take those down every day.
Yeah, so that they don't have to be taken down every day. But the flag that is in the Main Street USA, like the plaza right in the front, right behind like the Roy and Minnie statue, is actually a real flag. So every day at 5 p.m. they have a flag retreat ceremony, and they have pick a veteran for the day who comes up and like the flag's taken down and folded, and then it's
they've actually got like a full band basically. Have you seen it?
It's a Main Street Philharmonic band, right?
I don't know if they play the taps or what it is, but it is kind of moving.
Yeah, so we've always wanted to do that one. We've seen that one like on video, but we've actually not gotten to do that one ourselves. We're just never down on Main Street USA at 5. But that's something that we want to do. Like, there's so many different.
Or see the piano man sitting outside.
Casey's.
2 or 3 times. Yeah, Casey's.
Yeah.
Takes like 15 minutes at a time, so it's quick. It's something cool to see.
Or like in Animal Kingdom in the morning, look for Divine. Which if you've never seen Divine in person, like,
she's a freak.
She's so creepy, but she definitely creeps me out. But go see Divine.
A huge vine tree.
It's a woman on stilts that is literally.
You wouldn't even see her unless there was one of the handler wasn't there. You probably wouldn't even see her. Always right at the front as you're walking into like the animal
for Discovery Island.
Yeah.
She's usually by Discovery Island in the mornings. So like stopping to do things like that during the day are so magical, and they're so like, I tell people all the time, I've had clients ask me like, do you make itineraries for people's vacations? And I always say no, because I want you to make this your vacation. And it's true, like whether it's a couple's trip or a family trip, like make it your vacation, but don't miss out on the opportunity to just relax and slow down.
I think that's our tips, right?
Yeah, so that's going to do it for this week's episode. But be sure to give us a follow on the Double Dose of Disney podcast on either Instagram or TikTok, and drop us a DM with any suggestions or anything like that.
Your favorite tips.
Yes, your favorite tips for the Disney parks. And also, leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform, and be sure to give us a follow. We cannot wait to see you back here next week.
See ya.